Okay.
Let me tell you the story of once upon a time. Wait, Michelle, stop. Everyone stop. You know what? I'll try to steer away, Michelle. Hopefully it's on here. Oh, wow. So once upon a time, we're walking back from class. We got me, Yeet, Angelica, Emmett, and Ollie. Michelle had just assigned us a group project. Oh my God. We're heading back to the parking lot. Now we're deciding what to do next. Emmett's got an idea. Hey, why don't we go back to my place? Why don't we go back to my place in Long Beach and work on the project? Yeet's like, sure, as long as he gets to drive because he's a car expert. And of course, Ollie just loves taking shotgun down whippersnapper Ollie. All right, so we're heading to Long Beach now. And when we get to Long Beach, something unusual happens. We hear something's wrong. So Emmett's unconscious. We have her LVN and Jumper check it out. She checks the pulse, but there's no pulse. He's dead. Now we still have to work on the project, so Ollie says, hey, why don't we go back to my place in Los Angeles to work on the project? But when we get to Los Angeles, Ollie starts gasping for air, and then he dies. That was incredible. So now we have a mystery on our hands. What killed Emmett and Ollie? And Ollie and Emmett, you guys can't answer because you guys are dead. Hunter? What killed Emmett and Ollie?
I have no idea.
Grace? They were both victims of ozone pollution. The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, rates the Los Angeles, Long Beach, Riverside regions as having the worst ozone pollution in the US. Tonight, I hope to persuade you that we need to address the growing problem of ozone pollution. According to the Institute of Physics Environmental Research Letters, it reads that close to 500,000 people die each year due to human-caused increases in ozone. And key findings from the American Lung Association shows that 2 in 5 people live in highly toxic levels of ozone. So here's the plan of action. First, I'll take you through the problem of ozone pollution. Then I'll show you just how dangerous it can be. Finally, I'll show you what can be done about ozone pollution from a national as well as on an individual scale. So the problem, well, in order to understand the problem more fully, I'll need to provide to you a working definition to wrap your heads around. That definition is this. As defined by the Pima County, which is the Department of Environmental Quality, it defines ozone pollution as nitrogen oxides plus volatile organic compounds plus sunlight and energy yields only. Okay, great, but what does that mean in English? Well, this blue cloud comes from 2 things. The first thing is diesel emissions from vehicles. So that means motor vehicle exhaust coming from your car. And the second thing that makes this blue cloud is fossil fuels. According to a measurement taken by the State of the Air 2015, it calculates that 29% of all emissions come solely from electric utilities, and electric utilities use fossil fuels. So those 2 things, fossil fuels and diesel emissions, make this ozone pollution, which is this brown soot that blankets Los Angeles. So you're probably wondering, why should I care about this? Well, it's because it's extremely dangerous, especially when it comes in contact with our lungs. When it comes in contact with our lungs, it causes extremely detrimental health effects, such as shortness of breath, asthma attacks, coughing, wheezing, and much more. And eventually, it causes respiratory disease and finally death. This cartoon captures it pretty well. It says, you too should go inside to get some fresh air. Wow. And it's especially concerning amongst children because children have underdeveloped lungs, and outside, most of the time they're outside playing, right? And as they should be. In a study conducted by the University of California, Irvine, it says that ambient levels of ozone, which means ground level ozone, strongly correlates with prevalence of asthma in children. So the higher the ozone pollution is in the area, the higher the chance a kid will have it. So what can be done about this problem of ozone pollution? Well, the first thing we could do is fund public transportation. According to the American Public Transportation Association, it claims that all modes of public transportation are much more energy efficient than cars. And the obvious benefits being economic and environmental friendliness. But of course, there's a caveat, and that's lifestyle changes. You know, this is Floyd Mayweather's garage. He has so many cars. I don't know if any of us have as much cars. Maybe Yeet does because he's the car expert. But just think of it in perspective. How inconvenient is it just to wait like 10-minute cycles for a bus to come when we have our own cars that we can use anytime and anywhere? So expecting people to make that drastic lifestyle change of cutting all forms of private transportation is impractical. So we need to look towards another solution. And that solution is the NCDC, which is the National Clean Diesel Campaign. It's EPA approved. Out with the old, in with new. So what does that mean exactly? Well, remember how I was defining the problem of ozone pollution? I showed you that blue cloud. And one of the causes was that diesel emissions. So what this does is it takes out the old engines, old diesel engines, and replaces it with new diesel engines. So that eliminates the problem of bad diesel emissions going into our atmosphere. The price range is cost effective, and finally, guarantees results. Every dollar you put into this program equals reduced emissions. Now, what do I want you to do? Well, I just want you to think of the problem of ozone pollution differently. I want you to change your mindset about it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. I want you to be more aware of the world we live in. I want you to take care of Mother Nature, because if we don't take care of Mother Nature, she won't take care of us. And in the words of Ali Sefernia, master of Muay Thai, he emphasizes, be like water. If you put poison in water, then you've poisoned our water supply. One drop of poison in a pond will poison that entire pond and kill everything in it. Similarly, ozone pollution is that poison. So don't let ozone pollution get in our water. Tonight, I challenge you to think of the problem of ozone pollution more deeply. And to recap, I've first taken you through the problem of ozone pollution, then I've shown you just how dangerous it can get. Finally, I've shown you what can be done against ozone pollution. So how does this particular story end? Well, there's two endings. First ending is this. If we allow the problem of ozone pollution to continue, then we will bear the burden of carrying our friends' caskets. Well, that's one way to end the night, going to our friends' funerals. But the alternate ending is this.